I'm Lauren with Packhacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the ARK Classic Wallet, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. This wallet is made with their AxoGrid fabric, bringing it up a little bit closer to the camera. This is a 210D fabric. You can see that ripstop design and that sort of like cross design that you see on X-Pack. And it feels very durable and well constructed. There's also no logo on the outside here. So it is a very clean looking design. Also, over the course of 2 weeks, I haven't developed any like blemishes on this. There's like maybe, if you want to call it a blemish, like something right there and then something up there and down here. Like it's all very, very subtle. But overall, it feels like a very well-made wallet, which we expect from Alpaca. All their stuff is really great construction. No loose threading or anything like that either. Same with the edges, like it's fraying a little bit down there, but honestly, I think that's gonna happen with pretty much any wallet, so it's not really a concern for me. On the inside here, you can fit, they say 10 cards, but I can actually fit more. So each of these fits 2, so 2, 4, 6, 8, and then there's space here for other cards as well, so technically that would be 10. But then there's also a hidden card pocket here that can fit 2 cards. So if you really wanted to, you can fit 2, 4, 6, 8, honestly 10, 12, and then 16. You can probably fit up to 16 cards in here. It just might impact that magnet closure. So this is, you can, I don't know if you can't really even, well, I guess if I hold it up, you can see that it's magnetically closed. If I do that, it's gonna pop open. I found that the more that was in here, the less secure the magnetic closure felt, but it still felt secure enough, you know, like I don't know. It was one of those things where it was nice to have that so that it wasn't like flopping open all the time. But, you know, if you really overstuff this with cash, it's gonna get a little bit harder to keep that closed. But what I like about this, all of these card pockets are really easy to access. If you wanted to get to the card pocket, like whatever card's on the back, there's still enough flexibility to where you can stick your finger behind. But usually the cards that I put here are cards that I don't access a ton. Whatever one you do access the most goes right in the front here. You can see that has an angled design. So it gives you a little bit more space to like put your thumb to pull that up. I found that I could really easily pull up other sides of this as well. Like I never really had an issue using my thumb to give me leverage, but I think it was a nice little like quality of life thought. So, you know, it doesn't do anything to have that, you know, it's not like it impacts the packability of this or anything. So it was nice to just have a little bit more room for your finger. And then also it gave you a reminder, basically, if you have a couple cards that look similar, like if you're like, that's the one I want to use the most, it's like in the pocket that's a little bit angled. So that's kind of nice. In the back here, I just have a bunch of different international bills of different heights. You can see that those all fit in here very easily, and they kind of poke up a little bit if you don't shove them all the way down. But, you know, if you're pulling cash out and then shoving it back in, like sometimes I'll be lazy and not want to shove that all the way down. But overall, like it fits a ton of different bills. So this is really great if you do a lot of international traveling and want to have a accessible cash pocket. I also really liked this back pocket here because I used it for like a debit card and a card that I didn't want to be super visible. However, with this design, it is going to be visible. So once the second you, like it's not really a hit, they call it like a hidden card pocket, but the second you open up this bill area, you're gonna see it, right? So honestly, I found these to be a little bit more hidden because when they're not, I mean, I guess you can see that, but like when they're not full, you can't really even tell that that's a pocket at all. Like unless you're looking at it from the side when you're pulling it open, when you just open the wallet as is, it doesn't look like you should be able to store something underneath there. So on one side, I have, obviously this is like a Metro Pass, but I put like my insurance cards underneath because I don't need those very often. And then on the other side, I have a wallet tracker. So those were really nice because there are 2 things that I don't need all the time. So they just stayed tucked out of the way. And then in the back here, like I mentioned, I had a debit card. So with this, it's very nice if you wanted to, you know, keep a lot of things on hand, but you don't want like a super bulky wallet design. If you're finding this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. Referencing the packability on this thing, even when it's completely full, like I mentioned, if you add more cash in here, it's gonna start to feel bulkier, but this has a pretty slim profile. So regardless of how much I had in here, it always fit very well into my sling. I don't carry wallets in my pocket because that's, I think, not traditionally, like, not a lot of women do. Also, our pockets are very small, but just as a frame of reference, if I wanted to put this in a back pocket, then it does slide pretty easily in there. It does feel a little bit bulky for me just because I'm not used to it, but I know compared to a lot of other like bifold or billfold wallets, this still has a slimmer design than most. Looking at this in comparison to the ARK bifold cash wallet, they have very similar features, but the design and the execution is a little different. So with the Classic, it definitely feels more like long and more squat, whereas the bifold cash wallet is a little bit taller but shorter. So with this, obviously, it's gonna be really good. Oh, I had it upside down. It's gonna be really good at fitting tall bills, but I do find that I would rather have a little bit of extra space with my bills on either side, because if I put these in here, it just feels a little bit cramped. It fits like perfectly, but I feel like when you end up with more cash in a cash slot, if they're all exactly stacked the same way, it's gonna feel bulkier faster, versus this, you can kind of like stagger them a little bit into the sides so that it doesn't feel as wide. Maybe it's psychological, but for me, I feel like that always makes me feel like I'm carrying a little bit less. With this as well, it fits up to, it's 8 to 10 cards per side. So you can fit like 4 is kind of the max on each side. Honestly, that feels like they fit in there, but that's when it starts to feel pretty packed out. And then your access is a little bit odd, I guess, in my opinion. I feel like sometimes when I have too many cards in a slot, it just feels like it's more work to like sort through them all the time. And then when you have that closed, if you have a lot of cash in here, that can start to feel bulky. Plus, if you do this similarly has slot here for cards you want accessible, but it's a little tight when you have 4 cards in this top bit, and then that pull tab helps you grab them out. But I think that with this one, you do get a bit of what feels like a lower profile, but it's not that much different, and it feels a bit more stuffed when it's full. So personally, between the two, I like the Classic a little bit more. This material feels a little bit more basic and flexible, but it still feels durable, so that's not a concern. So there you have it, the ALPAKA ARK Classic Wallet. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.